Hello again, it's Mike here. Just thought I'd today give you a little bit of a demonstration on Morris Minor front suspension. Now, the front suspension on the Morris Minors are known as trunnions, and you've got your main suspension arm. Trackward end obviously would go through there. This would be connected to a pin and an arm go into the top shock absorber, and this section is attached to the lower suspension arm going back to the torsion bar system. Now, these are a little bit known for snapping off at times if they're not kept well lubricated. So purely today I just want to sort of show you what an actual trunnion is. Now, what I've done on this one is I've done a couple of little alterations on it. I'll probably put it that way, easier to show you. And what it is, the actual inside of a trunnion is purely just a threaded rod running through a threaded joint. I'll just take these off a minute here, and then you can see a bit more what's going on. There we go. Right, now what I've done on this particular one, top trunnion, bottom trunnion, I've actually done a cutaway section on both of these to actually show what is inside of a trunnion. Obviously, if you get it new, you can see the threads inside, but purely what I was really going to show you today is what actually happens when you grease these, or when you get a problem with not greasing them. Now basically, when you're driving along, especially on a straight road, you are literally just moving a small amount on that trunnion, and it's gradually just sort of rubbing against the threads on between the actual joint and between the actual arm itself. Now, if these are not kept well lubricated, then obviously you're going to start developing problems, and the obviously best way is to just keep on top of these and keep them well greased. Now, it's basically the same top and bottom, it's practically the same. You've got the same thing in there. You've got a threaded section, which is sort of just literally minute rubbing. Obviously, when you're turning from lot to lot, you will get a bit more movement. Obviously, these keep still. It's just this, it's turning in there. But what I thought I would just show you is when you grease these, now sometimes on the top you get a lot of grease coming out the top of this cap, which is not a good thing, because obviously the grease is going in through there, coming out the top. It's not going inside here. You should be seeing grease actually coming out behind this rubber bellows boot protector dust seal. So it should be working its way down through there and then coming out from there. If it just comes out the top, you're not really getting any decent grease inside there. More likely to me, I would say it's time to change that actual top trunnion. Now on the bottom one, it's a little bit different. I've not really ever come across a problem with that leaking out of there, to be honest, but it's the same thing. You pump grease in through the actual grease nipple on the bottom. That then works its way through around the splines and then comes out of the top there. Now also inside of here, which I will take apart in a minute and just sort of show you what is actually inside here. So if I just slide that off, little washer, and take the bottom pin out. Now, if they're not greased and the grease isn't getting around the system properly, this starts wearing on this pin, and it can wear quite considerable. And then that's where you start getting a lot of problems, and eventually not just that pin, but if it's dry or cracked or any problems with the bottom trunnion, then that's where it's going to break. Now inside of here, you probably might not be able to see this very well on the camera, but actually inside you'll probably see there's a scroll right the way around that phosphor bronze bush, and then in between those two bushes is a little mild steel sort of aluminium little sleeve. So when you put the grease in there, it squashes up past that sleeve and then works its way along those scrolls and then comes out each side. Now at the same time, it's also pushing the grease up through the threads, gradually pushing it up to the top and then coming out there. If it's coming out from there, there and there, good sign. I mean, it's showing that it's actually getting well lubricated. So I'll just pop that back together, and then I can actually then show you what happens when you grease it. Put that one on there. No, not sure. One there. That's it. And again, this is just purely another dust seal, just to actually stop too much water and everything getting down inside there. So now what I'm going to do now is actually put some grease through that grease nipple. If I just swing the camera around a bit, I don't know whether it will pick this up very well or not. Yeah, it should do about there. But basically, when you clean the grease nipple off when it's on the car, pop the grease in there. Yeah, so I've got the grease gun in there now. And I'll just check that this is still going to show. Yep. So what it will do now is you should see some grease actually working its way out through these threaded section on the actual suspension arm. Now I'm just going to put some grease in there now, and that's now going in through to the middle little sleeve that I showed you. It's actually working its way around inside there, and then as you pump it, obviously because I've got this section cut away from there, it's actually, because I've cut that away, it's obviously not going to do its proper job, but it's just really showing you where the grease goes. So it'll go into the center there, come out on both sides of that pin, and the more you put in there, the more it gradually works up the threads. It can't go any further when it hits this like core plug cap at the end, and so it then goes on up and comes out there. So that just gives you an idea of the bottom trunnion. And then the top one is very similar. It does exactly the same thing. I do exactly the same on the top. I just pop my grease gun on there. That's it. And then you should actually see it coming out past the splines. There we go. It's just starting to come out now, just around the side there. Now obviously I can't show it 100% because it's you know, no covering on there, but that will do the same. It will work its way around there and go all the way down. It won't lubricate in here because obviously you've just got rubber bushes and it's just a blind hole through there. There's no lubrication going into that part. There's no need to. So what it'll do is gradually work its way down through there until it comes out down there. So that is just showing you the grease inside of it. Now, just in case you wanted to see what it looked like, I'll just remove the top one. The bottom one, you just got to take the pin out, then you can unscrew it. And a trunnion is basically, sorry, this is the trunnion, but the actual suspension arm is literally threaded all the way, with the exception of a section right in the middle there, which will lubricate as it's going through there. The grease gun is coming through the bottom, slowly moving itself up through the actual spline threads, and then gradually working its way all the way up. When you're taking one apart, then obviously you're looking for any thread damage in this sort of areas, because that's where it's swiveling all the time. And if it's bad completely, then you've just got to get another leg. 9 out of 10 it's usually these that take all the wear of it sort of within the splines themselves. You probably can't see it on that one there, but that's not too bad. But it was just one that I had and used purely for showing this system. So yeah, so that's basically it. It's straightforward enough to do. Now sometimes if you jack the car up, you can grease it, and it'll work fine. Another time you may have to put an axle stand underneath the actual front suspension arm from this one, just to relieve the pressure of it pulling down or hanging down. That will then get the grease and everything to actually move up and down there. And if it's very hard getting any in, then sometimes just swiveling the wheel from side to side as you're greasing might just free it and work it if grease hasn't been in there for some time. So I think that's basically it for doing the trunnion. Just one thing I did forget to add when I showed you the demo on the trunnion. Here's another one that, this is the bottom one this time, so I showed you the top. I don't know whether you can actually see this very well, but running down the inside of there is a groove running all the way down from top to bottom. Probably won't show it very well in the video. I'll just put a light against it. Okay, there we go. Whether that might show a little bit more clearer, probably not, I don't think. No, I don't think it's actually going to show. Yeah, just about there. There's a groove running right the way down this actual channel here. It's just a straight groove, literally just running from top to bottom. Obviously, when I was saying about the grease going into the system, obviously you're greasing it through the grease nipple in here, which will actually go right the way through the middle, through there, through a bush in there. This one's got a damaged bush, but it will come out into the center there, into that part, and then it'll work its way around the thread, and then gradually, as it gets to this side, it will then send it all the way up the side of the thread to the very top. So it's not just sort of trying to get around every single sort of screw thread area. It's also sliding its way up the top to come out there, so as it can then gradually move itself in there. So that was all. It was only just really just a recap on that bottom one. Okay.